saw. So I guess the question would be, what do you do with the miracles or supposed miracles that other faiths claim?
In fact, Muhammad, when it comes to Islam, said, I don't do miracles. Miracles where it depends on what kind of Buddhism you're talking about. Some of it's atheistic. What created this miracle if there's no God?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever time you're watching from. I'm so glad to have you here. So, miracles in other religions apart from Christianity and Islam. So this person asks for miracles that happen in other religions. So let's watch.
So Nate.
Hey, Nate.
I've got a friend that has been an atheist for a long time, but then he's been adopting the Buddhist faith. And so when I talk to him about the resurrection, he agrees that maybe something special happened, but he also says that when the Buddha died, that there was an emission of light or something that his followers saw. So I guess the question would be, what do you do with the miracles or supposed miracles that other faiths claim?
You have to, good question. I think you have to evaluate them on a case-by-case basis. And when you evaluate them on a case-by-case basis, they pale in comparison to Christianity. In fact, Muhammad, when it comes to Islam, said, I don't do miracles. Miracles were attributed to Muhammad 150 years after he died in the written traditions known as the Hadith. But the Quran says he doesn't even do miracles. He's just a plain warner. He just warns people there's one God. So there are no other, to my knowledge, eyewitness accounts, like the kind we have in the New Testament, of some other world religion giving us or performing miracles or miracles confirming another world religion. Think about Mormonism for a second. What's the big supposed miracle in Mormonism? Oh, Joseph Smith had these golden plates. Hey, I can make golden plates in my garage if I have the right material, right? How is that a miracle? I mean, some things that are supposedly people find persuasive, I go, what? I don't get it. The Buddha, the light, is, what evidence do you have for that? I mean, I would ask, what do you mean by that? And how did you come to that conclusion? What evidence do you have that that was divine? And by the way, if he's saying there was a miracle when the Buddha died, it depends on what kind of Buddhism you're talking about. Some of it's atheistic Buddhism. So what created this miracle if there's no God out there? When Buddha died, right?
Right.
And for those that believe in karma, that's more of a Hindu kind of thing. You know what karma means is that your next life will reflect the good or bad things you did in this life. And so if you come back as a king, you must have done something great in the previous life. If you come back as a cockroach, you may have done something evil, right? Well, think about that. What would that system require? First of all, it would require a moral law, so you need somebody like God. You'd also need somebody like God to keep track of all this. Oh, you did what in your previous life? Okay, let me put you up here. Oh, you did this? Let me put you down here. You would need a mind like God to keep track of that whole karma thing. So they have to steal from God while they're arguing against him, right? So I would just keep asking questions. What do you mean by that? How did you come to that conclusion? You know what I've noticed? In fact, this happened a couple of years ago. I was in Dallas. I remember I was in Dallas, and we were at the book table, me and a couple other colleagues, and some lady came up to me and said, you got a good book on Buddhism. And I said, why? And she said, well, my friend who was a Christian has just become a Buddhist. And I said, I don't know your friend at all, but let me just ask you this question and see if I may be guessing right here. Did your friend, she was a Christian, you say, did she start doing something that Christians would consider immoral and the Bible would consider immoral? And she said, yeah. I said, so she wanted to maintain spirituality without the moral accountability. That's why she became a Buddhist. It wasn't because she thought Buddhism was true and investigated some sort of evidence. She wanted to keep doing what she wanted to keep doing, but she didn't want to say she wasn't spiritual. She went, bingo. See, that's the issue. You don't need a book on Buddhism. She doesn't even know what Buddhism is, right? She doesn't think it's true necessarily. She just wanted something spiritual that she could cover her lack of accountability. She didn't want accountability. Anyway, take it away, sir.
Yeah, so 30-second last final question for you. What is your hope for the Church of America?
Oh, my hope is that the church would be the church that we should be, and we would be engaged in all levels of society, and we would make disciples, not just believers, and the church would reach out to everybody, but would also train people to be disciples. And I think too often a church service is more like a motivational talk, which there's nothing wrong with that alone. But if that's all you're doing is motivational talks, and the church becomes all about me and what God can give me, and that's not Christianity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So this man asks a question about the miracles in other religion and Buddhism especially. And this is my first time actually learning about the religion, Buddhism, and he first spoke about Christianity and Islam. He just chipped in some words about Islam and spoke about Christianity. He gave so many examples of reason why people tend to go into such religion if you don't believe in your religion. He was just trying to say that as a Christian, you're not supposed to change your religion to that kind of religion if you know the essence or the spirituality or the faith your religion carries. So this guy that asked the question was like, his friend was once an atheist, and he became a Buddhist, and he explained everything. And he also spoke about Islam, that even in Islam specifically there was no miracle in the Quran. That based on his research, there was never a miracle that Prophet Muhammad did in the Quran, only in the Hadith, and that was years later after Prophet Muhammad left. So indirectly what he's trying to say is that the only religion he can stand for that has miracles is Christianity. Even in other religion, he's not convinced enough about their spirituality to him. But he was like, why will somebody just switch from Christianity if you are very, very devoted to your religion? There's no way you can switch from Christianity to the other religion. So I just love the question, the explanation. It made me have a little understanding about the Buddhist religion, just a little, but I wish to learn more about other religions to know the miracles and everything done there. But that was a beautiful one. Let me know your thoughts about this video. Let's keep this discussion going. I'll see you guys in the next one.